Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. We did a live Q&A, I think in March or I think it was March or February, and it was really, really fun. I had a matcha then. I have a matcha now. There you go. You can see it. But yeah, I thought we would do another today. If you're hopping on live and joining us, say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. I'd love to chat with you guys. I do have a bunch of questions that you guys asked me ahead of time, but if you have any questions that don't come up, feel free to post in the chat and let me know what's on your mind. Today, we're gonna be talking about like everything petite, women's health focus, fitness, nutrition, mindset, you know, the drill. And I have a lot of good questions kind of like loaded up for us already. So grab a matcha and hang out with me. Let's go through some of these questions. Okay, so hey, Ashley, what's up? I'm so excited that you're here. How are you doing? Oh, this is so good. Oh my God, you guys. I just posted a matcha dalgona on my Instagram page, which I don't know if you guys have seen on Instagram. It's been like everywhere. Like there's been the dalgona is like that creamy puff-like foam on top of, like, they're doing coffee, they're doing it with everything. It's been all over Instagram, and I tried one with matcha and egg whites last week. It came out really good. So go check it out if you want to have like a little special matcha treat. But okay, anyways, I digress. I could talk about matcha all day, as you guys know. Okay, so I had a lot of questions about nutrition, calories. We are going to get into that sort of like really granular stuff. So I was thinking we could start with something kind of like easy. Someone asked, how do you improve sleep? And I'm really glad that they brought this up because for those of you who don't know, we have this thing in Smalletics called monthly calendar challenges. So I release a calendar. It's like all of your workouts written out and listed what to do that day, so you don't have to think about it. And they're kind of like monthly challenges. So the April challenge was an at-home challenge, and we're doing a May challenge, of course. And the May challenge is going to be all around healthy evening routines to reduce stress. Also sleep, improve your sleep, because in case you guys didn't know this, if you've ever been like on point with your nutrition, on point with your fitness routine, but you're just not reaching your goals, you're not losing weight, a lot of times something that's could be going on a deeper level is your stress levels. And when you're kind of stressed out, this hormone called cortisol will be being produced in the body, and it keeps you from losing stubborn fat. So I've seen that happening a lot this month with my clients and with you guys. Like, we're really stressed out right now. There's a lot going on. So I thought that May would be a really good time to focus on sleep and reducing cortisol levels so that you guys can still achieve your goals. But just a few tips on improving your sleep right now. If any of you guys struggle with this who are watching right now, let me know. Especially right now, I think sleep has been like a struggle for a lot of people. But getting the good night's rest is going to go down to your preparation to go to bed. Like, you have to be, have sort of a routine where you're not just on your phone, scrolling on TikTok or whatever. I mean, I've done it before, but it never like results in a good sleep. So you want to try to, put your phone on the other side of the room if you can, or put it, not next to your bed. Try to read before you go to sleep. Kind of tune into what makes you feel good, what feels like a healthy ritual for you. I do recommend CBD if that's something that you're open to trying. It can help a lot with reducing stress and just kind of getting in a mood to go to sleep. Something I've been absolutely obsessed with this month is Headspace Sleepcast. They do these programs where they just kind of like paint a picture of a scene, and kind of, it's like storytelling. It's great. You can definitely do that to help improve your sleep too. You might have to try a couple things, and it might take some trial and error, but it will help you in your fat loss efforts and your health efforts so much, because like I said, you can't lose fat when we have high levels of cortisol like pumping through the body. So I hope that helps you guys. That's just a really brief little taste of some things you can do. And I know it's like not fun to work on, but it can go a long way. Okay, next up. How do you pick a good coach or a trainer? Okay, I've been asked this like 5 times this week. So really important, do your research. Always make sure, and this goes for, hey Mariah, what's up girl? Always make sure you do your research, and this goes for nutritionists, fitness trainers. It even goes for like influencers you follow on Instagram that, are giving health information, like how to just follow good advice, how to know if people are giving advice. Check their certifications. always check and see, are they certified? Are they a trainer that's not giving, are they a trainer that's certified, but they're giving nutrition advice and they're not a certified nutritionist? Like look at where the scope of their abilities are. For example, you guys know I'm an ASM certified personal trainer. I'm also a certified nutritionist. However, I'm not a registered dietitian. So I do have a scope that I try to I do stay within legally. I'm not giving people medical advice. I'm not working with patients who are diagnosed. I'm not helping them treat any medical diagnoses. However, we do have registered dietitians on staff in the Smalletics team who I can refer out. We can share and kind of take that team approach. If clients do have, for example, PCOS or other things going on, we still find a way to take care of our clients. But I'm not going to be the one who's dealing with medical diagnoses. So make sure that you are checking up on the certifications of people that you're following and taking active advice from. Just make sure they have certifications, and it helps also see, if what they're saying is jiving with the latest research. I think that's like the biggest thing. It's just making sure they're certified. Okay, let's move on. I think that's pretty much that right there. Also, actually, some red flags, you guys. If you see anyone on Instagram talking about like doing severe diets or diets that restrict entire food groups, that's a huge red flag. Like if it's like, hey guys, like I try. Also, if they're talking from like personal experience, like if it's all just their own health journey and it's like personal anecdotes, that's also not the best, right? Because you don't want to be taking advice from someone who's just giving you advice based on what worked for them, because everything is different for everybody. I'm sure you guys know that there's a lot of variation among individuals, and like you're different than your friends. So what was I saying? I'm like rambling now, but yeah, make sure that it's not just personal experience. Make sure they're not talking about restrictive diets, or they're not, anything that's kind of making you feel bad about your eating habits, or anything that makes you feel guilty. That's usually a red flag that their advice is not great. It shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself, or get you to start restricting your calories or taking drastic measures to reach your goals. All that stuff, no bueno. Hey, Eleonora, what's up? Hi, Arlies. Let me know if I'm saying your name right. I'm so excited you guys are here. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going through some questions on my Instagram that you guys asked. And if you guys have any that you want to ask right now about anything, we can chat about anything. Let me know. Okay, let's see what's next. Diet-related question. Do you drink alcohol? If so, how often? So yeah, I think we talked about alcohol in my last live. Basically, yeah, I drink alcohol not often, probably once a week is kind of what it's been in quarantine. Back before quarantine, it was like once a week actually, but Gary and I would go out on dates once a week and go to a restaurant and have like a party meal and, a beverage or two, margarita. You absolutely can have, pursue your weight loss goals, your health goals, your fitness goals, and still incorporate alcohol and really any types of foods you love and still see success. It's really just about moderation. So if you find that you're drinking every night, you're having a glass of wine every single night, yes, that's going to affect your fitness goals for sure. If you find that, you're just doing it once a week and it's like within moderation, that's totally fine. The biggest thing with alcohol is there's a couple things that can happen on a metabolic level. So we could talk about that. First of all, alcohol that has a high sugar content. So we're talking about sweet wines, like sweet white and red wines, and beer. These types of alcohol tend to be more fat storing in a sense. They have a high sugar content. Beer especially has lots of toxins in it. That's not the most ideal alcohol. If you're gonna go out and drink something, I would advise having like a clear liquor, like a tequila or a vodka, and having like a soda water with it, trying to avoid like the sugary sweet juices and whatnot. Something like a splash of lime, or if you're gonna have your, vodka cranberry, make sure the cranberry is like, you can ask them to go light. You can add just a little bit, like a splash instead of doing like a full pour. That can help a lot. Another thing to know is that alcohol affects your blood sugar levels. So the next day, how if you drink a couple glasses and then the next day the next morning you're like, I'm craving like the weirdest foods are just herby, oily foods the next day. It's just because your blood sugar has been completely out of its normal whack. If it was steady before, now it's really low. So you have low blood sugar the morning after you drink, which can cause you to eat and make kind of not good choices the next morning. So if you know you're going to have a couple margaritas, make sure you have a really good breakfast planned out for the next day. Something that's PFF, protein, fats, and fibrous carbs. So have some eggs and toast, or have some, protein pancakes, or have oats with protein powder, or have anything that has a good amount of protein in it, some healthy fats and some fibrous carbs, so that your blood sugar levels, you can get them right back onto being normal. And I need to sip, hold on. Okay. And blood sugar is important because if you guys have watched any of my videos, I talk about it all the time. If your blood sugar levels are like a roller coaster, you're going to be increasing the amount of time your body spends in fat storing mode. So what does this mean? Basically, when you have crazy blood sugar levels, that's when you're eating, when you're not balancing your meals PFF. So you're having carbs alone, you're having high sugary or processed foods with not a lot of protein present in the meal. What's going to happen is you're going to eat it, and it's going to increase the blood sugar content in your blood. And then a hormone, which is a fat storing hormone called insulin, is going to come in and try to wipe out the sugar, clear the sugar from your bloodstream. And when that happens, it has to find a place to store it. Okay. And our stores, they're not that large, our energy stores. So a lot of times it can be stored as fat. And we don't want that. So to minimize the presence of insulin that's constantly flowing through your body, you want to eat balanced PFF meals, and that'll keep your blood sugar level steady, which will allow you to start being in fat burning mode throughout the day. Once you drink, the next morning you have low blood sugar levels, you want to start eating PFF starting with the first meal, so that you can really start getting back on track with your blood sugar and just feeling good the rest of the day. This will also keep you from having crazy cravings in the middle of the day. It shuts down hunger hormones. It's the surefire way to, achieving, first of all, it just feels good to not have cravings. You'll sleep better, you'll feel better, you'll feel less bloated, and you'll start to be in fat burning mode more often, which is a lot of you guys' goal that in this community that I've talked to. What even was this question? I have no idea. Oh, alcohol. Yeah, so you can have all of the things that you want to have in your diet. It's just about how you incorporate them. And, if you want to have cake, have it after your PFF meal, so that it doesn't increase your blood sugar really, really rapidly and cause this cascade of insulin and, energy crash later. So rather than eating the cake alone, still have it, just have it after a balanced meal, so that you can metabolize it more efficiently, and you'll feel so much better for that too. You guys are pretty quiet in the chat, but I see you guys are here. Let me know if you have any questions about this, if this makes sense, if you have any questions at all. Anything you guys have been struggling with recently. Would love to hear from you guys, what you're going through right now, what I can help you with. Let me know. I'm just reading some of the comments. Hey, Rach, what's up? I'm so glad you're here. Yay. Okay. In the meantime, Eleonora asked, how many grams of healthy fats do you recommend approximately? This is a really great question. So it's going to depend on the individual. It's not as perfect of a number. When we talk about protein, that can be more, I can give more general numbers. With fats, healthy fats, I would say just make sure you have, 10 to 20 grams of healthy fat per meal. And if you're getting hungry between meals, that means there's probably not enough healthy fats, or there's not enough protein, or there's not enough fibrous carbs. It kind of depends. They should be balanced in your meal. But yeah, you don't want to be eating low fat everything all the time. You're going to be starving all the time. You want to make sure you're getting healthy fats in your diet for sure. Annie said, do you and Gary eat the same meals or different ones? My husband has very different eating habits from mine. Well, Annie, I just posted about this on Instagram the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It's I talked all about how much of a challenge it is when your partner has crazy different caloric needs. Gary can eat all day. He can eat 4,000 calories in a day, and he's still hungry. He has multiple dinners. So I can totally relate to the struggle. when he first moved in, it was really hard. I found myself snacking all the time. Like he'd have like fruit after dinner, and then he loves these like Russian cookies. So he'd bring like cookies over, and like, girl, it was really, really tough. I think after a while I realized like, okay, this, I have some goals that I'm working on, and it's fine to do that. Like it's okay to eat all those foods and enjoy it. But if you have a goal and you don't feel good eating those foods and you're getting tummy aches because you're so stuffed, I mean, you're probably going to want to make a change. And if you want to make a change, that's totally fine. So advice for that, I think the most important thing is to sit down with your partner and just communicate what your goals are and just have an honest chat. And like, it's not a time to blame them or say it's their fault that you're gaining weight, of course, or say, like try to put any of that on them, because it's not their fault that they have different caloric needs, but just to be like, hey, like I really, really want to work on this goal for myself. I want to, feel less bloated. I want to wake up with energy. But that means that I can't be snacking, after dinner. I can't, when I'm not hungry, like I can't be snacking mindlessly. So some tips for him, I would say like communicate that, and then make sure that when he's eating these snacks in front of you, ask him to just like politely not bring over portions for you. And if you do want to have some, like portion it out in a smaller bowl or cup. So don't eat from the bag if he's eating from the bag, and ask him to pour out his portions. He could do that too. Another thing is don't have him serve you dinner. So serve yourself. So like create your plate if you're cooking together so that your portion size is appropriate for your goals. But in terms of Gary and I, so we do eat some meals together. We pretty much eat the same foods. He just eats a lot more than me. So we just started doing trifecta meals. He's been doing it for like 6 months, but I just ordered some. They haven't come yet, but that's just so that I can get more vegetables in, really. But yeah, I just try to not pay attention to what he's doing. If I like really, look at what he's eating, and every time he goes to the fridge and I think about food, I'll start to get hungry, or I'll start to like feel bad for myself. Like, oh, like you're so lucky that you can eat so much more than me. I mean, yeah, he's 100 pounds heavier than me and like double my weight and, double my height. So of course he can eat that much. So I try not to indulge in those thoughts. I try to just think, okay, like I'm my own person. I have my own goals. This is what works for me. This is what makes me feel my best. This is what makes me feel my strongest. And it takes some of that like thought and work. But I think after a while you can kind of have like blinders to everything that they're doing and just focus on like enjoying meals together, but making sure that you're eating what's appropriate for yourself. But I totally relate to that. Leah said, how to keep up with motivation to work out. It's very hard right now. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought this up. It is really, really hard right now. I actually went through a period of time. I posted this on Instagram where I kept delaying my workouts like later and later in the day. And then it would get to be like 6 or something PM and I wouldn't have worked out yet. And I was like feeling really terrible about it. Like I was like, oh man, I have to work out now. And it switched from that mindset from I get to work out to I have to work out. And that's a really not good place to be. If you're finding that your workouts feel like you have to work out rather than I get to, rather than that excited mentality, like, it's a privilege to work out, it's probably a sign that you need to change something. Probably you need to change either the type of workouts you're doing, find something new that inspires you, find a new workout on YouTube, find something, program that's progressive where you can see your results over time, find something to like engage you, more in the process, because when we are engaged in the process, we stop caring. We start to think like, why does this even matter? I don't even need to do this. And then we feel bad about ourselves when we don't do it. And it's like that nasty cycle of thoughts. So I think just letting yourself start fresh, like write out your schedule for the next day, commit to a time you're going to do it. For me, that was like mornings, like morning workouts for me. I feel great after, even if I'm like not in the mood. And then I would say just also, besides having a plan, which you absolutely need, a plan is so critical. If I have to think about my workout, it's going to be so much mental energy. I'm not going to want to do it. Like it's just too much work to write a workout and then go do it. So make sure that you're like you have a plan of some kind. I have like hundreds of free workouts on my Instagram page if you want to use those or use anyone's. Like, I don't care whose you use. I just want you to feel good and move your body. So whoever inspires you or makes you excited to work out, write it down the day before, exactly what workout you're going to do, and you know, commit to it and make a plan. And also, if you're not feeling in the mood, just do like there was a workout where I was like, I'm just going to do like 1 rep. I was very not in the mood. I was like, I'm going to do 1 set and like see how it goes. I did 1 set and then I was like, I'm going to do 1 more. And then I did another. And like by the time suddenly I had just done a workout. So just take it 1 step at a time and journal, write down your goals, write down your why, like why you want to be working out. And that should help a lot with just like disrupting the pattern you're in. That's really the most important thing here, is disrupting the current pattern that you're not stuck in, but that you've fallen into just, you know, from the crazy, you know, we've been thrown out of our routine. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Hey, Marnie, what's up, girl? Let's see. You guys have such good questions. I know everyone is different. This is from Harley's. Do you eat a while before working out, or do you work out on an empty stomach? Okay, great question. I actually get this question a lot. So there's really no right or wrong answer here. I tend to recommend that you have a little bit of food in your stomach when you work out so that you can really build muscle and strength in the gym. Also, if you're waking up early on an empty stomach and then lifting heavy weights, this can increase the risk for just like feeling faint, feeling dizzy, and passing out. So getting lightheaded at the gym in the morning, or, you know, just your morning workouts. This applies more if you're like lifting heavy and going to the gym, especially if you're sort of a beginner or intermediate and you're lifting heavy on an empty stomach. It can cause like blood pressure changes. So it's good to have some food in the stomach just to make sure that you are, you know, safe and not going to feel super dizzy. It doesn't really matter from a fat loss perspective. You know, what matters is your total daily intake overall when you eat it. I mean, it's really just going to depend on your goals. If you're really trying to build strength, you're definitely going to want to have a little bit of gas in the tank before a workout. I personally always have something before a workout, unless I had a huge dinner and I can tell that I still have calories and energy that I can spend on my workout. But I would listen to your body on this one. Try it out. Don't have a big meal before you work out, but, you know, 200 calories, some protein and carbs and fats, and you'll be good to go. Ashley said, I'm working out and eating on track consistently, but not seeing any change in progress, photos, or weight. It's disappointing. Maybe plateau. Ashley, this is a really good thing to bring up. Thank you for bringing it up. So if you find that you've got the workouts down, you've got your fitness down, you've got your nutrition down, you are, you know, you're hitting your workouts, you're tracking your progress, and you're really not seeing any progress. First of all, I challenge you to really, you have to make sure that if that is the case, that you're being honest with yourself, and you really are being on point. A lot of times, there's 2 things that happen that are really common. Either there's the first scenario where people think that they're not seeing progress, but then when they compare progress photos, measurements, there is progress. It's just not the progress that they wanted. It's very slight progress, and they're discouraged. Progress is progress. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little bit. If you're moving in the direction of your goals, that means your body's responding well to what you're doing, and it's gonna get better and better. So that's the first thing. The second thing that might be happening is if you're not being really honest about, am I being consistent? You know, like, you know, am I like just being real? Like, this is honestly where having a coach helps a lot for both these things, just having this additional like awareness outside of yourself, but making sure you're being honest with yourself. If you're really, you know, sticking to the workouts and following your PFF and everything, and you're not seeing results, then you want to look at, okay, if I really am stuck on a plateau and I have not changed my weight or nothing is changing in 4 weeks, then it's time to change something. So what I would do is keep a food journal for 3 days, figure out where your metabolism is. And when I say where your metabolism is, I'm talking about how many calories are you eating in a day. You could be eating too few calories. You could be eating too many calories. You could be eating the perfect amount of calories, but your stress levels are so high that the cortisol in your body is not allowing you to burn fat. You want to start to look at other lifestyle factors and just launch into like curious mode, Ashley. Like, get curious about the things in your life. Get curious about, how are you doing with your nutrition? What does your food journal look like? Get curious with what your step count is. Like, take a look at the factors objectively. Your value, by the way, has nothing to do with the numbers. Like, if numbers trigger you, don't do this. But if you can look at these numbers objectively and learn from them, that's going to help you make a decision about the next steps in your program, because it might not be about doing more or eating less or anything like that. It might be about optimization. It might be about reducing stress. It usually is. Dieting is something that I never resort to or really tell my clients to do in order to achieve their goals. It's just really not necessary, and it really sets you up for a huge disappointment in the long run, because all the studies show this is very proven at this point. It'll give you, a few weeks of a lower weigh-in, but then you'll gain it back in the long run. It doesn't have good long-term outcomes. So get curious, launch into curious mode, figure out like what your current numbers are on things, and then start to see what you can optimize or improve on, and keep track of your progress and see if anything changes. Think of it as like your body's like a puzzle, and it's a really fun experiment, and you get to learn about yourself, and you get to try new things and get stronger in the process. So also just having that positive mindset that it might take 3 months to get there, especially if you don't have a coach or anyone who can eye in on it from the outside. It could take some time, and that's okay, because you deserve to put the time in for yourself. Thanks for that question. Eleonora asked if you finished the decoration of your home. No, so we moved in. And as you guys know, shipping is like pretty not on point right now, which is fine. So we have things that we shipped that aren't here yet, like the rugs, artwork, which we haven't bought yet, actually, some artwork, the credenza for our television. We got like a desk that hasn't come in. So we did get this couch and this lamp and some other things, but it's kind of barren. But I did like an entire video of before, so when it's done, we'll do like a before and after. I'll show you guys the mood boards that we made and like all the interior design stuff, because it's been really fun. We did like a kitchen makeover, so I'll definitely share that with you guys probably in like June, when we have everything done, to be honest. Okay, lots of other questions. Marnie said journaling is so helpful. Yeah, totally agree. Marnie's also in Petite Power, so she knows. You're welcome, Leah. Let's see. How do you keep yourself, this is from Sophie, from comparing your body and progress to social media beauty standards? Oh yeah, or the ideal body. I find it hard to escape that habit and really creates a toxic mindset. Yeah, let's talk about that. This is like, we're getting deep with this. I mean, I'm a human too. There are times where I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I'm like some perfect being that doesn't compare myself to other women. Absolutely not. It's a practice, like it's a daily practice that you have to work on, and you're going to have bad days. Like, it's inevitable. Over time, I'd say the number of bad days I have is drastically reduced. Maybe it's literally like maybe a dozen times a year now where I'll get that down and be that hard on myself. And then the rest of the time, I just know that it doesn't matter, that I love my body. And that's true. It's not like you have to lie to yourself or convince yourself. Through the process of taking care of your body, through the process of strength training and seeing your body as strong and powerful, you're going to start to have a whole new respect for yourself. And it's like a true respect. And the only times where you'll start to compare yourself is on bad days where, I don't know, it's raining out and you didn't work out and you start feeling down about yourself. And those won't be like the true reflections anymore. But I also think not following those accounts can help. I mean, if that's what you got to do at first, then that's what you got to do. I would say I don't do that anymore. Like, I just don't find it triggering. But if things are triggering you in the beginning, then you don't need to be subscribed to them. You don't have to have that in your like daily feed. That can be hard if you're, you know, actively trying to work on your mindset. I also think just working on meditation, cultivating positivity in your life. Back when I was a competitive fencer, for those of you guys who don't know, I was a competitive fencer for 18 years. I was on the Olympic track. That was one of my dreams for a while, for, you know, most of my young life. Most of my friends went to the Olympics. So back then I did a lot of work on mindset, and I learned the power of your thoughts. So I think just also like just knowing and practicing meditation and starting to give more power to your thoughts and realize like how you think is how you will end up, you know, believing, and it forms your whole worldview. So if you think thoughts like over and over again that tend to be, you know, comparisons, it will affect your beliefs, and you want to try to change those beliefs to be more in line with something, you know, a life that would make you happy. So I think just also realizing, catching yourself. It's like awareness, catching yourself when you're in comparison mode, and not being like, no, stop thinking that, but just being like aware. Oh, okay, you know, today I'm being really hard on myself. Today I'm really like, I'm finding that these negative thoughts keep coming up, and not that you have to change them, but just be aware of them. And once you can coexist with negative thoughts peacefully, they'll start to go away. Your relationship with the negative thoughts change when your awareness of them becomes greater. And it's just about shifting that relationship a little bit. And I know that's all kind of like vague, but it all happens in your head. So I think also just giving yourself the time and space to heal and meditate and journal and all of that good stuff. Let's see. You guys have such good questions. Sophie said, yeah, I deleted Instagram off my phone and it really helped. Meditation is great indeed. Yeah, sometimes you gotta like cut them out, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Arlie said, any recommendations about at-home thigh slimming? Personally, I can't get out of the house at all, so I'm not sure what kind of cardio I can do at home to help with that goal. Okay, wow, that's a good question. I'm going to say a couple things here. So you cannot spot reduce fat, meaning you can't just slim down one part of your body. Unfortunately, I hate this about Instagram and YouTube, and I don't really do it. You guys have probably seen on YouTube, like very popular workouts will be like muffin top workouts and thigh slimming workouts. They're titling their videos this because they know you'll click. But the problem is it's created this misinformation that we can actually spot reduce fat on parts of our body. Scientifically, we can't. It's not even a debate. It's just facts. We cannot do that. You can spot increase muscle in certain areas. For example, if you worked on, you know, you can do upper body workouts and increase the size of your biceps. But there's nothing you can do to decrease the size of a single part of your body or limb. When you want to slim your thighs, it will require slimming your entire body. And the way you do that is through increasing your metabolism. I personally recommend strength training and making sure that you are focusing on eating PFF and not restricting your calories. So working on your maintenance and then working through what's known as a body recomposition. So this is when you lose fat and you gain muscle at the same time. And as you gain muscle, it increases your metabolism because muscle burns more calories at rest than fat. And you start to burn more calories at rest just because you have more lean muscle mass. And it slowly results in a body recomposition. So you start to have more muscle and you start to have less fat. And it can take 3 to 6 months, but it's very sustainable. It's what I've done the last 10 years. And it allows you to reach your goals of slimming your thighs while also having them look strong and toned without having to do things like crash diet, do tons of cardio. So to answer your question, what you can do at home, I would just do total body workouts, work on your strength, you know, do lots of lunges and squats and all that stuff. And in terms of cardio, you don't need to do tons of cardio. I mean, go on a walk. If you can't leave your house, do little cardio circuits, you know, like not hit, but just do some, you know, I'm not even joking. Like, even if you like walk pace while you watch TV, or like just figure out a way to get a little bit more like, low intensity work in there. Like it's not always good to do high intensity cardio or hit or burpees like every day. That's definitely not the goal. Just doing some like, you know, some low intensity stuff, get some movement in, and prioritize the strength training. And nutrition is really 80% of the heavy lifting for losing fat. So making sure that your nutrition is on point, you're eating PFF, all those things will go a really long way. By the way, you guys, if you're getting anything from this live, I would so love it if you gave it a like to support my channel. It helps a lot to get that feedback from you guys. So if you're getting anything out of this, would love that. Let's see. RC said I sent some on Instagram, but I'll post here. Yeah, there were so many on Instagram. I answered a few at the beginning, but let me know if there was any that you had. Interested in knowing your favorite protein powders or sources of protein, plant or animal-based, favorite PHFF meals that are good for work. Okay, so protein powders, we'll talk about that first. I love Vital Proteins Collagen Peptides. It's flavorless, it dissolves into anything, and it has collagen in it, which I like. And it's a really good product, it's high quality. It's great. It's not plant-based animal. They do make a marine-based one, and I think they might have just released a vegan one, but I love them. I also love Tropica. I love their, that's a vegan protein powder. It's pea protein, which I find is really easy to digest, and their flavors are delicious and don't taste like gross sweetener or stevia. So yeah, I also have a video on all my favorite sources of protein for plant-based protein, which you can look that up or send me a DM on Instagram and I'll just send you the video. Yeah, and then my favorite PFF meals. Oh man, there's so many. Honestly, I've really been digging just like burrito bowls recently. Like I'll just make some ground turkey with like really yummy spices, like taco seasoning, and then, or ground beef, like lean ground beef. And then I'll mix it with like lettuce, olives, lots of textures, like anything that gives lots of texture to food makes it feel really satiating to the brain. So adding in like sweet corn that tastes amazing, fresh tomatoes, like squeezing lime over it as you're dressing. I've been loving that. And cheese, melting cheese on it tastes amazing. And that has all the elements of PFF in it. I also really like, let's see, that's kind of what I've been eating recently. I also like, I don't know, nothing's coming to mind right now, but there's literally hundreds of PFF meals. Just make sure it's balanced by having one of each of the three macronutrients in it and you're good to go. Tips for creating the working out habit when it's been a long time and making it stick as part of your routine. We kind of brushed on this earlier, RC. But really it just comes down to like you deciding. That's like tough love April here. And I'm saying this because I love you guys. I think if you really are just sick of how you feel and it's time to make a change, and it's time to make a change. And that's probably going to require something new from you, maybe something that you haven't seen yet. And that's where kind of like the fear comes in. But as you get started with the journey, and you'll surprise yourself and you'll start to see that strength in yourself. And I mean, you just have to give yourself space to try, really. It all really starts with planning though. So the night before, like just say, you got to be like, I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm doing it at 10 a.m. I'm doing this workout. Like know exactly what you're going to do. Have a plan. The thing that kills workouts is not knowing what to do. It's like, it could just kill it. It's like, well, I don't want to like research something. So like figure out, do all the research the day before, or better yet, find a program that's progressive that you can just like not have to think about and just follow, and commit to a date, find an accountability partner. I've told this story before, but not for a while. Many years ago, I launched Petite Power as an ebook, and I noticed that the number of people who finished it wasn't very high. Like people were having trouble sticking to it. And that was the feedback I was getting, that they loved it, but they couldn't find the motivation. So I revamped the program over the course of several years to include tons of touch points. So accountability, check-ins, email check-ins, community calls, like all of this stuff. And now not a single person stops in the middle. And I learned a great deal from this in just that you need to have some kind of accountability or someone who's checking in on you to see through your goal. And I need that too. I have a fitness coach. I've always had a coach. That is just absolutely necessary for any goal you have, whether it's like fitness or anything else. Having someone who knows like what you're working on and can check in on you and hold you accountable is really, really helpful. So find a friend, like I don't care if it's your mom or your neighbor or like whoever, someone you met on Instagram, someone you met in the Short Girl Gang free community page, like do some FaceTime chat, workouts together and try to find a way to be accountable for one another and show up for one another. We'll go for like 5 more minutes since it's almost been 45 minutes. How did this time fly so fast? Let's see. Is this also, Bia asks, is this also true for the fat belt? Because I have a feeling this is the only part of my body. Yeah, so if you want to lose fat, I think you're referring to your tummy, Bia. If you want to lose fat in your stomach area, you cannot spot reduce it there. It has to come off all over your body, all over. Doing crunches and ab workouts for like nonstop every day is not going to make you lose fat in your stomach. That's not how you lose fat. You have to lose it equally all over through lifestyle changes and increasing your lean muscle mass and working on your nutrition. And when you start to see your stomach change, you're going to see all areas of your body change because you can't just spot reduce it from the stomach. Yeah, Michelle said she missed the beginning of this live. Yeah, so I'm going to post this on my channel as like the video of the week. So you'll be able to restart it then. Let's see. Yeah, no problem, Marcy. What and how do you calorie cycle? Okay, calorie cycle. I have a video on carb cycling, Melanie, that I think you'd really want to watch. You'd really enjoy it. Check that out. You should probably be able to find it by just Googling carb cycling in my channel and it should come up. Marnie asked, how do you know when you should change your macros and calorie intake? Yeah, so this is a really great question. By the way, Marnie, there's a whole video on this in Petite Power if you want to check it out. DM me. So when you have noticed that you've been in a plateau relative to your goals, so if you have a weight loss goal or a fat loss goal and you are not progressing towards your goal, you could be progressing in other ways though. But I'm just talking about if you in one area, if you're not seeing progress, after 4 weeks, then that's probably a sign you need to change something in the programming. It doesn't necessarily mean decreasing. It kind of depends where you're at with your metabolism, but yeah, you'll want to reassess whenever you feel like things have stopped changing and make sure that, you're taking pictures and it really has stopped changing, because sometimes you could be progressing in the photos, but not on the scale. And you don't always want to make changes just because the scale isn't going down. That's not the best indicator of progress, but kind of depends on the individual, where you're at, your history. But Marnie, definitely send me a DM if you want to chat more about this and we can talk about your situation. Not that you have a situation, but just your goals and everything, because you've been crushing it lately. I saw a couple, we only have a few minutes left. Okay. This is the slowest I've ever drank a matcha latte. Latte, you guys. Like, normally I like pound it. How do you let go of waist measurements and form on your body against others who have the same but just at a taller height? Do you mean like, how do you let go of waist measurements and form on your body against others? Do you mean just comparison, or I'm not sure what you mean, but this kind of goes back to like the kind of comparison chat we had earlier of just, you can't compare yourself at all to other people. You're your own person. You have your own body. You have your own goals. You have your own metabolism. Things are just different, and you're never going to look like someone else. And that's why you just want to be like looking to be your best version of yourself. I'm not exactly sure what your question is, but if you want to clarify, let me know. Okay, last question, last one, if anyone has any last ones. How do you stay on a good nutrition track from Hannah? Being home and my parents being in charge of meals, it's hard to resist going back for seconds. Yeah. Well, Hannah, I think it's a great question. You know, right now is a crazy time, and I want to be completely transparent with you guys. Right now might not be the time to be really strict on yourself. Like, now might not be the time for that. It might just be a time to enjoy time with your family, you know, get seconds at dinner, and work on your mental health. It really depends. If you feel like you're mentally in a good place and you really are ready to make a change, then it's really just about, like I said, writing out your goals. Like, writing them down will change things. Write them down and make a plan for the next day. And, you know, you shouldn't be hungry after dinner. You should be satiated, but making sure you're not eating to the point where you're like stuffed and feeling sick. And committing to that really just comes down to deciding. And also tell your parents, like, you can tell them, if you have an okay relationship with them, hey, I have this goal. I really want to work on this. Will you guys help me achieve this goal? You know, I don't want to be so stuffed after dinner that I feel sick. Like, I want to have the appropriate portion. And that can go a long way. Sometimes it's really just about communicating to the people who are around you a lot what you want to work on. And those are just some starting tips. But also, like I said, now is a crazy time, you guys, and it might not be the best time to be restricting or being tough on yourself. It might just be about feeling good, you know, sleeping well, getting a workout in, getting some movement in every day. Eating good foods and enjoying time with your family while you have it, if you're with them, because, excuse me, there's a lot out of our control right now, and your mental health is the first and foremost, most important thing. Okay, you guys, this has been so fun. Please give us a like if you enjoyed it or you learned anything. Thank you for showing up. I love chatting with you guys. I'm going to post this on the Smalletics YouTube channel so you can rewatch it or watch the beginning, and send me a DM if there are any questions I didn't answer. I will get back to you and I'll answer them. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.